I had a dream, black folks wouldn't feed for esteem for white folks regime and cream that's lean and watered down. Cause we in quarantine, don't mean we corner now. Ray came the king, the vaccine for your boredom now. Recorded sounds with my voice is awarded now. Fuck Grammys, got my love from the underground. 2 ovations, I take a formal bow, but no normal crowns for this immortal brown man spitting from the murder mitten. Your chick smitten, whether they chickens are giving the mix to Hilton head living. My lyrical spells ain't wicked, they fill with melanin cognition when I'm killing the competition. They screaming, this supposed to be an exhibition. Throw the towel in, there's a soul that's so spry. I don't want no cries, if he dies, he dies. Surprise, surprise, I'm raw, no cut. And if you doubt my rise, you can get these nuts. Dreams, dreams of black queens and kings. Yeah. Dreams, dreams of black figurines. We are ancestors' wildest dreams. I can't help but be the shit, cause it's in my genes.
What up, though? What up, though? We are back. This is Wealthy Thoughts, episode 11. This is the reboot. We've been at a hiatus for the last year or so. Want to give a shout out to my sister, Tracy Brooks, my former co-host. She will be back with us every now and then, but I want to give it up to my new co-host, Sacha Spicer. What's up, Sacha?
Not much. Thanks for inviting me. And shout out to Tracy as well.
No problem. No problem. So Sacha, just to give you, I'm not going to tell Sasha's whole story. I'm going to let her tell her story. But just to give you a little bit of insight on it, me and Sacha started off in real estate kind of around the same time. We had a mentor together and we were kind of on that little same team trying to get our, we had to get 3 sales.
Yeah. Our first 3 transactions.
We had to do our first 3 transactions with our mentor, Miss Kimberly Creighton, and with EXP at the time. And we got our 3 transactions and moved on. I'm still doing real estate with another company named Worthcock Realty. Who are you with now?
I'm with Real Broker.
Okay, Real Broker. So come on, Sacha, tell us something. Tell us some things about yourself.
Well, I like to talk a lot, so I'm actually gonna keep it pretty brief.
No, you're gonna keep it. You're gonna just go.
I'm gonna start brief. No, I'm still in real estate with a heavy focus on helping renters become owners and helping professionals become investors, investors through real estate. Let me say that. My background is accounting, so I'm also a CPA. I'm also a mortgage loan originator. I do a lot of different things, but real estate is my main focus, and anything helping people actually achieve it. Especially with everything that's going on right now, you have to be in charge of your own finances. I'm very passionate about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, when you say with the focus on renters getting into homes, how do you go about finding those renters?
Well, I go and I share information. I'm trying to do better with being consistent on social media, but I just share information, invite people to home buyer seminars, and then people who are interested, I help them. I found that one of the most challenging things, unfortunately, is convincing people to invest in real estate because they're so worried about what they see on social media, just in the economy. They don't believe that they can do it. And it's a little frustrating. It's actually heartbreaking, so just to kind of control my own emotions, I have to just meet people where they are and be there when they're ready, share the information. And then the reality is a lot of people don't want to be homeowners. So I have to fall back a little bit, even though I'm really passionate and I know how it can help their life because personally it helped mine. So, I mean, I rented for 18 years. Mm-hmm. All because I was so scared of, I had horrible credit. And I was just scared if I ever get a foreclosure, it's going to be over. I'm not going to be able to do anything. So I kind of get the fear. Yes. But like I said, it took my life to a whole nother level. And then I just kind of wanted to spread the word. But I know everybody's not ready for that word. So
I got you. So when we get into the real estate investing part of it, I mean, have you done any investments?
No, not really. Not other than the investment that I made myself, which is interesting because I didn't get into real estate as an investment. I got into it just as a way to regulate my housing expense. And then, I became a realtor, and I was actually trying to get one of the for sale by owners in my neighborhood to let me list with them. Mm-hmm. And you know how some for sale by owners, they already know everything. And he was like, I think the market is going to get to this by the top of the year. So I'm like, he might have a point. And I sat back and I watched, and it made sense. So I actually sold. And so now I'm really passionate about the power of investing. And then especially had I known some of the things that I know now, like when you can purchase a 1 to 4 unit,
Mm-hmm.
live in one to really make it an investment. I wish I kind of would have did that first before purchasing the home that I wanted, but it worked out and I learned
What
some
they like to call house hacking.
exactly.
Yeah.
House hacking to, well, we'll leave it at that, house hacking.
All right, let's tell us something about the accounting, your accounting background. Let's talk about that.
Do we have to?
Yeah, let's talk.
So, funny enough, I fell into accounting. It was
Okay.
not something that I had planned on doing, but I was always good at math. And then I
Mhm.
got to college and heard that it was one of the hardest majors, that and computer science. People don't
Okay.
usually stick with. So the competitive nature in me decided that I wanted to stick with it. And so even though it's not something that I love to do, it's something that I've done for 20 plus years. I'm just good at it and it pays well. So, you know, but other than that, I don't care about accounting other than helping people like when I first meet them and they're like saying that they can't afford homes. I'm
That's
like,
what I
well,
was going to say. How do you connect it with real estate
right, exactly. I
and
started
your
with
mortgage
telling
loan
you,
business?
I'm sorry, say that
I
again.
said, and your mortgage loan business. How do you connect it with those two?
Perfect. Okay. So one, I feel like you need a budget.
Hmm.
Like because a lot of lenders will tell you what you're pre-approved for, but that might not be something that you may feel comfortable with once you actually get the mortgage. Because
Okay.
there are a lot of things that go into it. Like you can get a fixed rate loan, but your interest, excuse me, not your interest, your principal and interest will be fixed for the most part, right? Whatever they tell you your monthly payment is, that is going to be the amount for the 30-year term that you're probably going to get. But the insurance and property taxes will most likely increase over time. So you need to kind of already build that into your budget. And a lot of people don't have a budget. It's like when I say budget, it feels like a cuss word to people. And I get it because when my score was in the fives and I was trying to get mine up, and you're sitting there like, you got a 9 month plan, and every payment you make, you're just waiting for it to hurry up and come. I get it. So I feel the restriction, but I wish people would look at it more like it's not a restriction. It's me knowing where my money is
Where your
going
money is
every
going.
month.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so with that, some of the tips that I have are like, make sure that you're doing things to get your credit moving in the right direction. So when you are ready to apply, you're going to qualify for like the better interest rate. And even down payment assistance, you have to have at least a 620. So
Yes.
which is honestly how I ended up falling into being a mortgage loan originator.
Okay.
Every time I would refer a friend or somebody that would come to me to a lender, they would just drop the ball. And when I would ask questions, the buyer didn't know the answer to some of those things. Like I had one person tell me that one of the lenders told them that they could not approve them. And then I was like, okay, well, what did they tell you to do to like, get to the price point that you're looking at? And they were
Hmm.
like, they didn't tell me anything. And I'm like, well, did you ask them this? Did you ask them that? And then when they came back to me, they really didn't have an answer. But I realized a lot of people don't really know what to ask, and it probably got lost in translation. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling like these deals are lost once I send them over to these lenders.
Hmm.
And so since I understand all of this stuff, let me just do it myself and then I don't have to worry about it. Or at least if somebody applies with somebody else, they can apply it with me and I can let them know, what to do to get there, to get to their goal. Because what I found also is that a lot of mortgage loan originators, that's their only job. And they're trying to feed their family. And if that deal doesn't close, then they're not getting paid. So I feel like they push those people that aren't ready right now to the back burner and just never think about them again, as
Yeah.
opposed to putting them on a plan and checking
Gotcha.
them.
So let me ask you this. You was talking about the questions they need to ask. You got like a list of questions that they need to ask, or maybe give us like five questions that they should ask.
When you get it denied, because that was what happened. Like
Yeah,
somebody got
yeah, like
denied.
yeah, those.
Okay, well, one, because this particular person was a nurse and she said that she had made X amount of money, but the way they were calculating their income, they were like, it didn't work. So I guess I would ask, how are you calculating my income?
Okay.
What type of job do I need? Or like, do I need to get a raise? Should I move up in my company? Like, should I get another job within the next year to be able to get to the price point that I'm looking at? Because the reality is, depending on what you're trying to do, you might be at a price point like just that's normal for your area
Hmm.
that you can't afford right now. So you are going to have to make some changes, whether it's getting a gig, like picking up extra hours. But again, you have to know how that lender is calculating the income. Um, let's see. If your credit score is low, see what they can tell you to do to bring the credit score up. I would say those are the most two important things because those are the main things that are going to affect your interest rate.
Okay.
Other than debt to income as well. So a lot of people, just to kind of bring this up, a lot of people feel like I hear this a lot. I need to pay off some debt. And it's like, okay, like you might want to pay it down. But let's just say if you have $10,000 worth of credit card debt
Mm-hmm.
and you have, I don't know, let's just say 10,000 in your savings account. It does not make sense to pay off the $10,000 worth of credit debt because your lender is only looking at what is showing up on your credit report and what is the monthly payment. So of that 10,000, you might have one credit card that has $1,000 balance where the minimum payment is $35 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So they're only counting that $35.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense for you to save the money that you have saved for the down payment, for the closing costs, all of those things, because you can get down payment assistance if you need it and you qualify for it, but you're still most likely going to have to bring something to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the main thing that I say about that. But that's also why I encourage people to have a budget because that $35 that lender is counting, hopefully you're paying more than that so you can pay it off.
Okay.
As well as you have other bills that are not showing up on your credit report. You have electric, you have water, you have cell phone bills are high these days, internet bills. You have so many, and then you might have habits. Let's be honest. Like you might like to shop, you might like to go to Starbucks. You need to know where your money is going.
It's
And I
going.
just wish people would like not run from that. I think a lot of people that I have talked to, just even in my own family, my friends, my circle, they're just discouraged and they feel like looking at it is just depressing. But I
Yes.
feel like staying in that situation is more depressing. But again, you just have to meet people where they're at and drop those nuggets when you can.
I get that. So as far as your mortgage company, what mortgage company do you work for?
Capital Federal Credit Union.
That's right, Capital Federal Credit Union. And how long have you been doing that now?
Since September 2024.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, all right. I was looking up something, just going because you were talking about budgets, just to give people something to look at. If they go to a website called Vertex 42, they set up, well, it's like an Excel sheet where you can kind of form your own little budget, and maybe it don't look like a budget more than anything. You can start off at least tracking where your money going, like a little ledger, and then you can start seeing where money is going, and then from there you can make a budget, maybe, because that's how I got into it. I didn't want to do a budget either, but I started kind of tracking where money was going, and then as time went on, I was like, okay, this, I got too much money going here, I got too much going, and so then I was able to kind of start budgeting and doing better with managing money. So
Yeah.
that may be something that people could use. It's called vertex42.com, I believe that's the website.
Okay.
So tell me more about your, have you done, do you do, I don't know, is there any conflict of interest of having a mortgage loan and being a real estate agent? Have you done that, been a real estate agent and the mortgage loan agent, or can you do that?
Okay, so I have not personally done that because unfortunately, like I said, I had been dabbling with accounting.
Okay.
But as of this year, I've been focusing more on leaving the accounting alone. Actually, the last project that I took was February 14th. So I'm slowly transitioning into full time, focusing on my real estate business only. But there is not a conflict of interest in my situation. I guess in certain situations it could be. You could have a loan officer that is encouraging you to get a home that might be at the top of your pre-approval just so they can get like the largest commission on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But it is legal.
Okay.
You will have to sign an affiliated business arrangement disclosure before you
Okay.
even apply with my lender, with Capital Federal. And same thing on my real estate side. We do have affiliated business disclosures as well because they do also have a mortgage company that they are affiliated with that also offers incentives. And I hate to say this because I don't know what Capital Federal would feel about it, but I encourage people to apply to both.
Okay.
Because one thing is I don't want to say I, but the company I work for, we are the lender. So, you can only get whatever products that we offer. Like I know right now we don't offer HELOCs, I want to say,
Okay.
or
Okay.
home equity lines of credit. And we also don't do construction loans.
Okay.
So you're limited by what one lender can provide. That's the same thing if you were to go to Bank of America or Navy Federal, is just that. But when you're working with a mortgage broker, a broker works with different lenders. So I always encourage people to apply with 3 different quote unquote lenders, like put in
Okay.
3 mortgage applications and have one of them a broker. So you're
Okay.
actually casting a wider net and make them compete for your business. I actually have a new construction client right now where in order for them to get the incentive that that mortgage company has, they have to apply with that lender, with the builder's lender.
I
And
got
they
you.
need to be listed on the contract. Now they can remove that mortgage lender within 30 days of closing,
Mhm.
but for instance, to get the incentives, they have to have them on the contract to start with.
Yeah. So after they close, they can refinance.
Possibly, or they don't even have to go with that lender,
Okay.
with the preferred lender. But
Oh,
let's say, for example, this lender is offering, what was interesting was we actually viewed the property on February 28th and the
okay.
special ended February 28th, right? But if they were to extend it, I know, and we didn't put in a contract or an offer yet. So the 10,000 that they're offering, in order to get the 10,000, of course you have to go with their lender, but
Okay.
you have to have that lender listed on the contract. Now, maybe I can offer her more, another lender can offer her something better, and then she doesn't have to go with them, and she can, forfeit that 10,000 to get whatever else we're offering. But however, if she decided that, okay, no, I'm going with Capital Federal, that's who I'm listing on the contract, and then for some reason we decided to go with the preferred lender later, she could not get the 10,000. So it's like a strategy right now. It's like, to make sure that you don't miss out on that, we are going to put in the application with them and we're going to make them compete. And even the sales agent said that he's able to do a lot of things. I didn't even know that the preferred lenders could do down payment assistance and had specials for first time buyers, all of that. So we'll see.
All
The
right.
better person will win.
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit because you are such a multifaceted woman, and
Okay.
you have and I know that you do taxes also. And in this tax season with new president and everything like that, what have you been seeing in this tax season? Has there been any changes, anything that we need to be looking out for? Or, as I know, most people have probably done their taxes already because they're trying to get that tax return money. But for those that have not done them yet, and they, business wise or anything you've seen out there?
Nothing new since our new president has,
Okay.
been in office. It's just been business as usual.
Okay.
But I will say that there are a couple of things that I'm hoping for that get extended, Tax Cuts and Job Act. I think he does have plans to extend that. And I hope he restarts bonus depreciation. That's something that I'm really excited about, that will help a lot of businesses and real estate investors. And that just means you're able to take more of a business expense for those capital assets, like assets that are usually, they have a useful life
Mhm.
over time,
Yeah.
multiple years. Like, of course, a house, well, we don't
Well,
know how long a house will last, but the IRS is going to say 27 and a half years.
27 and a half years.
Right, exactly. So you would be able to write that off over time. And that part isn't going to change, but where bonus depreciation kicks in is that you're able to get a cost segregation study where somebody can tell you how much the appliances are worth and everything inside. And then instead of having to write that off over the 27 and a half years, you can just write it off based on whatever the bonus depreciation schedule is.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. And nothing else that you know going on with taxes that we need to know?
No, I've just, like you said, so much stuff has been going on that I've
Yeah,
just been trying to keep up.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
I
I
just want to.
know a lot of people um are worried,
Mhm.
especially in the Black community. You got a lot of people worried, and I always try to talk to people that's actually professionals doing it in that, so that I can get an idea of what's really going on besides all the fear mongering and everything that we may have going on
Yeah.
when it comes to certain situations. But that's good to know from a business point of view. What about just the regular quote unquote Joe Schmo?
Yeah.
It's got a regular W-2 coming in, and what kind of any breaks for them?
You know, There's this girl that I keep telling people that I want them to watch her video because she breaks it down so well. Her
Okay.
name is the Money Nista.
The
Um,
Money Nista.
the
Okay.
Money Nista. And she talks about, pretty much becoming tax free legally,
Okay.
but how you need to do it through either a business or real estate investing.
Hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because she breaks it down so simply how the tax code is not set up for a W 2 wage earner.
True.
And so I don't really have any advice for a
Okay.
wage earner, except for if you are paying somebody to do your taxes this year, have them sit down with you and kind of give you a tax plan. Now, I don't know if they would do that because a lot of people are going to, which I hate to say this because I also work for TurboTax this year, but I feel like a lot of people are going to like the TurboTaxes, the HR Blocks, the Jackson Hewitt, if they're still around, and
Hmm.
they're just like getting them prepared, and you're paying a one-time fee for that.
Yes.
But in a lot of CPAs will actually charge you more for a tax strategy or
Okay.
tax planning, right? Planning is different than preparing. Planning is what you would do right now in 2025 to make sure that by December 31st, 2025, you've done all you can to lower your tax liability, because
Okay.
whatever you do has to be done in the tax year, right? You can't wait till January 1st and decide I'm going to buy this and I'm going to write it
Yeah.
off, etc. So I would say just talk to them. Maybe even if you have somebody go over your return with you, if somebody tells you you owe this, that's something that I do, especially when I have somebody that owes. I will tell them why. Like I will compare it to last year and say this is different, or you made this much money, or your retirement did not take out. Like I actually had a guy the other day where he made like $48,000 in retirement income. They took out 600.
Mm,
So he had like an $8,000 tax bill. And it's
mm,
like, and he's a W 2. Like, I mean, he had W 2 income from another job,
yeah.
but that's part of the problem because you didn't just make 48,000, you made 98,000
So your
between.
so your tax advice is you need to start an LLC or an S corp. Yes.
Right. And if you can, and somebody that's making that type of money, now that was all W 2, so that's not going to help him. But
Yes.
somebody that's making that kind of money, a S corp, because at least that way you're avoiding, I don't even know how to say it, because technically you're still paying it in a way, but the double taxation of self-employment tax. Because when you're LLC, you are the employee and the employer, so to speak.
Okay.
So you're going to pay both sides of it, as opposed to when you're W-2 and you only pay 7.65%.
Okay. Okay. Now explain that. Explain that again for me. The LLC. The difference between the LLC and the S corp.
Okay, well, I don't want to go
In
too
layman's
far
terms.
into
In layman's
it, right? Too far into it. Well, when you are a LLC, right? Well, let me not say that. Especially if you're a single member LLC and your profit and loss is feeding through a 1040, like on a
terms.
Schedule C profit and loss statement that is going to be attached to your 1040. Your net income, any net income you have over $400, you owe self-employment tax on that. And so self-employment tax is pretty much both sides of FICA, right? So FICA is Medicare and Social Security, which they add up to be about 7.65% of your income when you're W-2, and same thing when you're LLC, so to speak. But when you're LLC, you're also your own employer. So you're responsible for the employer portion. So you're paying both sides of that 7.65%, which is the
Okay.
15.3.
Okay.
Now you get some type of deduction for that on another schedule, but outside of that, let's just say if you're an S corp, you have the 1065 that is it's the business return, so to speak.
Okay.
And you're only going to pay taxes on your income. You're paying yourself payroll. Like, and
Hmm.
it needs to be payroll.
Yeah.
Like, use something like Gusto or ADP or something like that. It really needs to come through payroll. And
Okay.
then that's when you're being taxed as an employee and only paying the 7.65%.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 So now I had a question going back to the to real estate, and
Yes, please, let's get off accounting.
I kind of lost that question because I didn't want to lose the tax question because I wanted to, some people that's interested in knowing what's going on with the tax, especially seeing how it is tax season. and everything. But I kind of lost what I was going to say about real estate. But let me ask you this: Are you still doing real estate in Georgia?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
No, I would say that if somebody came to me with a Georgia buyer, I would refer that out
Okay.
to another agent.
Well, how let
Only
you?
because I did that one time, and it's just hard to be the type of agent that I want to be. And I ended up paying somebody,
To
you know,
do
a
it.
lot of money at the last minute to go do a showing, only to find out, going back to the client that made me become or want to become a loan originator, I found out that they were not pre-approved for the amount that they told me, and then you know, so I'm like, oh yeah, next time. Just
And that was the question I had as far as your loans. Your company, do you do loans in Georgia?
yes.
Okay,
We do loans in all 50
all
states.
50 states. Okay,
Yeah.
and no construction loans. You said, right?
No.
What about do you guys do loans for real estate investors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if they need not construction, but general contracting, just rehab, do you do loans for rehabs?
We'll have to check on that. I know we do FHA 203K,
Okay.
which is, you know, a rehab, but if you're going through FHA,
Mm-hmm.
but I would have to check about the rehab loans. We don't have a lot of those.
Okay.
So right, none that I've seen. So I'll just have to double check before I speak on that.
Okay. Okay.
But if you, I mean, I don't know, because I was gonna say DSCR, but people don't typically.
What's that?
Really? Okay, you're gonna put me on the spot like that.
Because I'm serious. Maybe I know what you're talking about and just never.
Right, yeah, right. You're like, don't come up here using acronyms. Explain what you're talking about. I got you. So that's debt service coverage ratio, and
Okay.
that's where people are typically applying or qualifying for the loan based off of the asset itself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know that. I just
Right.
didn't know it as DSCR. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Got you. I got
A
you.
lot of people don't, so I'm glad you called me out on it, because that's why I don't like talking about accounting sometimes, because I'll just be throwing off terms because I'm so used to them, and I'm like, oh, it's just such a habit.
Yeah. So you guys do all 50 states. You do rehabs for. I mean, you don't know if you do rehabs, but you do work with real estate investors.
Yes.
And you do the FHA 203K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cool. Anything else you want to tell us? How do we like contact you and all that? People that's in North Carolina, how tell us the area that you work in North Carolina.
Charlotte is my primary area.
Okay,
Yes.
so people that's in Charlotte, North Carolina, that's gonna be watching this soon, tell them how they get in contact with you.
You're gonna really just put me on the spot and make me call out my you're gonna make me call out my social media that is really lacking and not doing anything that it needs to be doing, and I'm not consistent.
Yes, I'm gonna make you do that.
Okay.
Or at least give your email address out.
Okay. Well, my email address is contact@soldbysacha, and that's SACHA. And my social media that I am trying to build up and need to be more consistent with is S Spice Realty. And that is
Realty.
Yeah, and it's a little play on words. So it's first initial, then Spice, and then Real, and then TEA.
Okay, Real T. Okay, I got
That's
you.
T.
I got you. So just since we putting people on Front Street, when we first started in doing real estate, the main thing we always used to talk about was making videos, doing videos. We need to be doing social media, doing more stuff on social media. We was talking. Kim used to always tell us we need to do that. I think we got on a call with somebody else that was telling us, hey, we need to start doing that and getting that done. And none of us really did it. Not on a consistent basis. Huh?
I said until now.
Until now. So that was the reason, just to put you on Front Street, put myself on Front Street too. That's the reason why I got in contact with you and decided that, hey, you would be a perfect co-host for this show that'll help us to start building up that social media following and social media content, so that we can tell more about our businesses, tell more about different things that's going on in the public. Also, as I said before, this show ain't gonna be just about money or just about business. I mean, we can also talk about stuff that's going on in the community, stuff that's going on around the country, stuff that's going on around the world. But our main focus is always, that's why it's wealthy thoughts. We want to give wealthy thoughts on economics, wealthy thoughts on life, wealthy thoughts on health, all those different things, wealthy thoughts on politics. We just want to talk about those types of different things. But I wanted to first get you a chance so people can know who you are, know your background, know other things about you. Anything else you want us to know about you? Any personal things you want us to know about you?
Yeah, I think y'all know enough. I think the rest will come out as we watch, you know, and as we talk. But I do want to ask a little bit about you. Can you reintroduce yourself?
All right. Well, yeah, I am Randy Graham. I'm a real estate agent here in Atlanta, Georgia. Also a fireman in Atlanta, Georgia. I just became a lieutenant at the
Great.
fire department, and I have 3 kids, an adult and 2 little ones, and that's it. I mean, I've been doing real estate. I had this show going. I think we talked about that before, and you guys can go back and look at previous shows from before. We had this show going. We had to take a little break because just life was lifing, and so we had different things going on. Tracy Brooks had to take a hiatus. I had to take a hiatus, and we always knew we were going to get back to it. Like I said, Tracy Brooks had some things she had to do on her end, but she will be on here joining us from time to time. And so that's that. I also I have a book out on Amazon called Think Success. You can go to Amazon and pick that up. I have music on Spotify from my previous years of doing music. Me and my oldest son, who is 21, his artist name is Michelangelo. We have a album together that we did. He did all the production. I did all the writing. That album is called Legacy. You can find it on any streaming service. And that's it. What other questions you got for me? I mean, that's about all I can think of right now.
I mean, that was a lot. You talk about multifaceted. Look at you over here. We got the music, we got the firefighting, we got everything.
Yeah. So I love firefighting. I love my job. But I also love to do other things. This is one of them. I've been trying to do a show for a long time. It's just getting the time to do it with everything that you have going on, all the different things you got going on. I don't even want to get into being in school and studying for tests and stuff like that. All that's different stuff. But doing everything, I wanted to get back to this. Now things are starting to slow down just a little bit. So I wanted to get back to doing this and getting back here. So we will be on every other Saturday. Starting, what's that? This will air. What's that? March the 8th. Is that the 8th?
Mhm.
Saturday 8th. So this will air March the 8th, and then the next one will air March the 22nd, and then we'll go from there. Every other Saturday we will have one, so that you guys can see what we have in store for you that week. Whatever information is going on, maybe we'll talk about something that's going on in the world that time. Anything you know that's going on right now that's interesting you, or
It's funny. That's what I was going to ask you
okay,
because I really have just come up for air. Like
I understand.
it's been a whirlwind. Like you said, life be lifing, okay?
Life
But I'm
be
still standing, you know, and I'm optimistic and all of that good stuff, and you know everything's going to be
Speaking
good.
of that, you saying you still standing. I was watching an Instagram reel earlier. Either it was late last night or early this morning, and it was a young man talking about how he had just got off work. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was just talking about how tired he was and he didn't have anybody to talk to and different stuff like that. And it
Hmm.
was interesting reading the comments. I was happy because you read comments and people have so much negativity to say so many times. I was happy to see in those comments most of the people were encouraging the young man and telling him, hey, you know, some of the women, I get he was a I you know no he was a handsome young brother, you know what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure he has his choice of women that he probably want to be with, and it was a lot of women on there saying, hey, I would love to be your woman, and give you somebody to talk to. So he had, I mean, whatever he wanted out of it, he might have got something out of that. But I found it interesting that he had said it because it was interesting to see some of the gentlemen, some of the older gentlemen on there give him insight and tell him to keep going and keep working and keep grinding. I even posted something on there to tell him, hey, keep grinding, man. That's what it's all about. Just got to keep working at it. And
I love that.
And so I found that just you talking about life is life, and I just thought about that. I also saw something else. I wanted to have you ever you saw it's I don't know, when did that movie come out? 2019, 2018. The Jordan Peele movie, Get Out.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen that so many times. I love that movie.
Yeah, I do too. I've watched it a number of times myself. And I was watching an interview with Lakeith Stanfield where he was talking about the sunken place. He was talking about how many Black people kind of have to live in that sunken place when they're in white spaces.
Okay.
I found that pretty interesting. What you think about that?
Ooh, now you got me going back thinking about the movie and like what that really means. Because I say no, I don't. That's my initial instinct. I'm definitely bold. Okay. And I think that's why I'm also passionate. And again, not to get back on this, but this is why I think I'm so passionate about real estate, because I think it's like one of the most attainable things you can do to gain wealth, because you're putting down a minimal investment when you think of the worth, the value of the asset that you have control over. And it's not like you're always going to need somewhere to live, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to get into like, I have a little bit of stocks, right, with my 401k. But to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm gambling half the time, right? Just because it's just like, well, I'm making my my Roth.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in weeks to come. I will tell you this: your best bet is to try to find you an ETF, or find you something like or get into one of the 500, the S&P 500 stocks. Because those stocks typically will give you a return every year that's above inflation, and that's really at the end of the day, besides you feeling like you're gambling, that's your best bet.
And I appreciate it, but full transparency, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it: as smart as I am, as intelligent as I am, all of these certifications that I have, I feel so slow when it comes to finance. I'm like, I don't get this at all. Like that's why I'm like, people have tried to explain it to me, and I'm just still nervous and little candlesticks and all of that. But to your point, I do have some of that VOO. I love that. It's just so expensive now. I don't even know if I can afford more of it.
I mean, you just put a little bit in at a time and get
about some fractional shares.
Just fractional shares until you can build up to that. I think VOO might be what, 500 per share.
Yeah, it is now. Like it was so much cheaper when I first got it.
A little over 500 per share. I think when I first got in, it was like 200 and something.
Exactly.
But because I got in, I got that extra money off of it. So,
and I'm not gonna. I think that's what it is. The fact that I saw that, it made me feel like I know a little something, but it's like you don't know what you're doing. I even
look at it this way. As much as I know we got off the subject of what we were talking about, but as much as we talk about Warren Buffett being this billionaire, Warren Buffett started stocks in his teens, and he didn't really get into the millions, the multi-millions, until he was into the 80s. So we're talking the 80s or 90s. I want to say it was the 90s. He didn't really get into the millions, and I don't think he really got into the billions until the 2000s. And so we're talking about a guy that had been doing this since his teens, and he's 80 something years old. So so we're talking about it took him time to get there. So people think you just gonna get in the stocks and just make money. Some people do have that hit. I know a couple people that got hit, like they got a big hit because of their stocks and was able to sell, or they had stocks in the business and was able to sell those stocks and made millions. I know people that did that, but that's very far and few in between.
Exactly. That's a whole nother aspect. But like you said, to get back on subject, the fact that like I feel it is hard for people to create wealth in one lifetime. And so I feel like whatever you're good at, whether it's a business, a skill that you have to do those things so you can become self-sufficient. And I feel like once you kind of get self-sufficient. I'm not talking about like, you're like on top of the world or anything like
Mhm.
this, but you just know that you are good in any situation. I feel like when I'm around, let's say white people, like you say, right? Because we're talking about the get out, That's
white spaces. But
okay, white spaces.
same thing.
Look, because I don't want to misquote you, right?
No, but same thing.
No, I'm going to be so bold, but that's also based on just like I said, being in accounting so long. So I guess let me go back then. I did used to really be like that. Like I looked at my managers and everything like they were God. And I mean that in the sense of if they don't like me, if I do something wrong, if I'm too black, I'm gonna lose my job and I'm gonna be poor again, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I pretty much was two different people. It's like I had this work person and then you're like shielding all of your personal life because you don't want to run into them or anything like that. But I think, like I said, being an entrepreneur, I don't worry about any of that anymore. Like I'm 100% myself. I don't need y'all. Y'all need me. It's just, it took a while to get there.
Yeah.
And going back to what you just said, it took about 23 years for me to get there. Like,
yeah. I mean, and some of that, it does come from getting older and becoming more sure of yourself and everything, because you just got to be yourself at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
And not miserable.
But I mean, just relating that to a Tony Rock joke where Tony Rock was talking about the black people nigger meter, and he was saying that, he's like, depending on the space that he said you go to he said we go into a room and we look over the space and we say, okay, what do I set my nigger meter to right now? And so he was saying, like, you go to an interview, you on 2, and you get out the interview, you'll dial it up to 6 or 7. He said the police pull you over, you on 1. So he said, when the police leave, you on 10. Like, fuck him. Like, so just him talking about that. I mean, I found it interesting. Lakeith Stanfield was talking about it, and he was saying how even him recording when they were filming the movie, how he said that was some of the scariest stuff he had ever done. Because it just him having to act a certain way and be a certain way, and he was like, and he kind of related it. They talked about when he snapped a picture of him, he kind of started snapping out, and he was like, that he said, that happens a lot of times. He kind of related it to real life and different things, like, he's like, sometimes that people proverbially snap that picture of you, give you that light, and you start seeing like how you acting or how different things. And so, I just wanted to see what you thought about. I love that movie. Get Out was like, it's probably one of my favorite movies. I got a few, but Get Out is probably like one of my favorite newer movies that's out.
I don't think I watched it last year. I need to watch it a couple of times today.
I got like 3 or 4 movies that I watch every year. One of them is X. I always watch Malcolm X.
Okay.
Every year, at least once every year. I started watching Get Out at least once every year. And then there's a Christmas movie I watch called It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
I watch that every year. Just because It's a Wonderful Life is like just what he did for that, just showing how important he was to that, even though he thought he was nothing, all the stuff he did for that town. Just show how important he was and how important you could be even when you don't think you anything. I might be going too deep in it. I might be showing my nerd with that, but I love it. But I really that movie, I love watching that movie just for that.
I've never even seen that movie.
And I forgot about The Time to Kill.
Okay, wow. You go deep.
Yeah, Time to Kill is another one I watch every year. Yeah, when he tell them, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell. That's like my favorite part of the movie. First time I saw it, I think I got up and pumped my fist when he did it.
That was that Malcolm X inspiration.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, they deserve to die. But yeah, I like watching those movies. They I don't know, they help me to stay, I guess, based. I don't know. There's another movie I like. I don't watch it every year, but what was the name of the movie? I'm trying to think of it. Oh, Devil's Advocate. I don't watch it every year, but I do if it's
Okay.
on, or if I catch it, or if I'm scrolling and I'm looking for something watching this, I'll be like, oh, let me watch that. I ain't seen it in a minute.
Randy, I knew you were deep. I had no idea you was this deep. Like,
What the Devil's Advocate? I love Devil's Advocate. That movie kind of it's deep. That movie kind of crazy.
yeah, all of the movies that you named are deep.
Yeah,
Like,
that movie, Devil's Advocate. I don't know. It's something about that movie. I'd be like, man, that's wow.
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm still sometimes I still watch it and find stuff in it that I didn't see the first time.
You done gave me some homework.
Ah, what kind of movie? What you watch?
Oh my goodness, I'm embarrassed to say after you just went real deep. I like comedies and stuff like
Okay.
that. I just have to, yeah, I'm real intense myself sometimes.
Yeah.
That I have to just like. I remember I dated this guy that called TV mindless entertainment, and then he would watch stuff like you're talking about, like. So
Well,
when I watch it, it's really mindless entertainment. I'm just laughing and giggling and like.
well,
No,
I do that from time to time. Like people laugh at me because I watch all of the Hood Tubi movies.
Oh my God! Now I love Hood Tubi movies.
Yeah, I watch
like
all
my
the Hood
guilty
Tubi
pleasure.
movies. Yeah, all of, especially the ones from Detroit, because that's my hometown. So I gotta watch all the Hood movies from Detroit. You know, shout out to Mina Moreau and Crystal the Dial. Shout out to them. You know, Denzel, whatever his name is, that dude, he be in all the movies. All them guys that be in the movies and stuff. Shout out to them. They doing their thing. They be repping Detroit real hard.
See, I haven't watched in a while because I don't know why I do this, but I'll be on something and then when it gets popular, I'm not on it anymore. So I haven't like watched any Hood Tubi movies in a minute. But the thing that I love most about them is that somebody had a dream and they were like, I want to make this movie, and I don't care if Warner Brothers or whoever ain't gonna be behind
it. They'll have their iPhone going. I mean, some of that stuff be so I mean, just low budget. But I'll sit there and watch it because I can't even lie to you. Sometimes the storylines be better than Tyler Perry's storyline. I mean, it just don't have the production.
Exactly, and that's what I love about it. I'm like, sometimes the acting don't even be on point, but it's like the storyline
be like if they had some better actors, this would be the shit right here. Exactly. But I mean, eventually, you know, if they keep going, they make that money, maybe they can get to that point.
Yeah, and I said Hood, but actually, like, low budget is the best way to put it, because I remember there was this one that I was watching, and like they had a receptionist, and the sign that they had behind her, it changed like on the next scene, and I'd be looking at the clocks, like I low key and like that person, so it's just funny to me. I don't know, like that, and you know, like, oh my God, the storyline, and
it was one about they had about some lawyers, and they were in a room, and when they were in the room talking about whatever they were talking about with this case, and they walked out the room, and when they walked out the room, the dude had a whole nother suit on, and then they walked back in the room and he had the original suit on again. I was like, man, that's wild right there. I mean, but you know, like I said, you laugh at it, but you know, to me, these people, they were willing to go out there and put their dream together and try it. So I mean, I support. I spend money or spend time doing other dumb stuff, so I guess I can cut that on and watch it and support them too, because I would love somebody to support my stuff if I was doing it. And so I mean, you know, some stuff it do. I'll be like, okay, I got to cut this off. This
But no, I respect it, because like one thing it reminds me of, and this, I'm gonna date myself on this. When I was younger and my grandma would get the newspaper, like my favorite part was the funnies. You know, and I don't know if you remember, it'd be like two pictures and you had to spot the differences between the two.
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of like that game.
Kind of like that.
Right. And on top of that, a lot of people in marketing, now I don't know if this is their strategic marketing plan, but a lot of people in marketing will put like mistakes and stuff in your marketing, just in their marketing, to see if you're even paying attention to it. So I think, you know, you never know. It could just be like, we're going to see who cashed it is. They're going to be talking about it. They're going to be streaming, but posting about it.
That could have been it, because
exactly, right? You know, it's going to drive more people to watch it.
I have seen stuff on TikTok or on Instagram where they were talking about these movies and talking about, this is horrible, this is bad, and it made me be like, let me go see what this movie about, and I go watch it. Just
meanwhile, they streaming, right?
Yeah. I go and stream it because it was on Instagram, and I saw it. I'd be like, let me go see what this movie is, and I end up watching the whole movie. just because of that little clip they showed on Instagram. So I mean, you might be right. That I mean, hey, the wilder it is, because it was one movie they actually filmed it up the street from my mom's house in Detroit.
Oh wow.
My mom stayed at 6 Mile in Mendota area, and they filmed this like 6 Mile in Eileen. And the dude started running down the street. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't 6 Mile Eileen. It was 6 Mile further down the street. I want to say I can't think of the name of that street right now. Maybe Santa Rosa. But the dude started running down the street, and I just and he had shot a guy in the movie. He ran down the street and fell. And they never like took that out. Like he stayed on the ground and just stayed there. Nobody went and chased him after he shot this dude. It was like y'all didn't see him running away from the scene, and he fell and just sat there. Nobody, and that mess was hilarious. I had to show it to my oldest son. I was like, look at this, and everything. Because we like to watch the movies too, just so we can figure out, oh, do we know where that's at? Like, do I know where that's at in Detroit?
Yeah,
that's another thing. Like, I like to watch it, but I watched some good ones from Cleveland. I watched a couple good ones from some people from Houston.
How do you even know where they at?
Well, I mean, like, I know the Detroit movies because I know my city. So I mean, when I see those, I'm like, oh, that's Detroit right there. I know that. But like Cleveland, I might not have knew it was Cleveland at first. I think because I started like delving into reading about the different people that's doing movies. I started delving into that, and I was reading something, and I noticed, and they were talking about this one company that makes movies out of Cleveland, and they got about, I don't know, 3 or 4 movies. They had, at that time, they had about 3 or 4 movies on Tubi, and I had watched a couple of them. That's how I realized they were from Cleveland. The other movies, the Houston movies, I saw that it was Texas. And I just kind of figured out that it was Houston. I think they might have referred to Houston in the movie some kind of way, or it was something in the movie that let me know it was Houston. And then there was a couple movies in Las Vegas by some black people from Las Vegas. Majority of the movies that I see on Tubi are from Atlanta, though. But I don't know if I watch those as much as I watch the Detroit movies, because I just watch them because it make me reminisce of home.
That's what's up.
So yeah.
I've never been to Detroit, but I want to go because like my favorite rapper's from Detroit. So.
Who was that?
Big Sean.
Okay.
Don't do it. He is from your city. 3 and a third. Let me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
So one of my homeboys, he'd be like, "Man, that boy is horrible," and I'd be like, I ain't gonna say he's horrible. He's not necessarily my favorite rapper. My favorite rapper from Detroit probably would be like Royce the 5'9" or me. So
you.
but no, like Royce the 5'9". I love Royce. Cash Doll Sweet, I like her. Of course Eminem. I mean, that's the big dog from Detroit as far as moving numbers and everything. And as far as lyricism, I mean, he very lyrical. But yeah, I don't know. Big Sean is cool. There's a couple songs of his that I will listen to, but he might not be my favorite. Other thing is, I went to Renaissance High School and he went to Cass Tech, and they are mortal enemies. And so I'm just playing. No, I'm just shout out to Cass Tech. I'm just joking around.
You know what? Look, I hate to even say this because as a lady, Big Sean, when I listen to him, he just gives me all this confidence in the world. Like, I don't know, his confidence feeds through to, I feel like, his listeners.
Now, I will give you that. He does have a lot of confidence. He definitely believes in himself, and he believes in himself enough to get on the way he got on. I don't know what happened with him and Kanye. I don't know what happened with that, but
it don't matter. He's still standing. Let me stop.
But no, he came out with that last album. It didn't do as well, but I think a lot of that has to do because he's not with Kanye no more, and he just don't have the same backing.
Because he's deep.
Huh?
Let me stop.
You say what?
Look into him like he my man. I said because he's deep.
Oh, okay. Well, I will say he did get more mature on that last album.
Yeah,
he did. He did get a lot more mature on that last album. But I think he was going through some stuff. Didn't he go on a little hiatus for a minute because he had some personal things going on? I know his grandmother or somebody, whoever raised him, died, and all that type of stuff. So I thought I heard that something like that happened. and all that different type of stuff. But I will say this: he put on for Detroit, so you know I may not be the biggest fan of all his music, but he does. I was listening to Click earlier.
So you like his fun songs?
Well, I don't know. I gotta. You know what? Let me do this. And I have never listened to a full Big Sean album. So I will say that I've never listened to a full Big Sean album.
Dark Sky Paradise just came up on 20 years. I want to say 20 or 10. 10.
Yeah, right. I've never listened to a full Big Sean album. So I'll be honest with that. And that's probably sad seeing how he's from Detroit and I should have just listened to it just because. So I have to go back and do that again. You know, shout out to Big Sean, Cass Tech alum. I have to go back and do that.
I appreciate that.
I have to go back. I have to do that for you and your man. I think his girl might not like that, but
right. Look, I know this. It's so funny because like I really do love Big Sean, but not like in that way. Like I'm just like I really don't. Like seriously, I know when people hear me talk about him, they probably would think that I, would, but I'm like, no, I like him and Janae together. I think they're a cute couple.
Cool.
Little baby.
Cool.
No home wrecking over here.
All right, look, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna say this, Sasha. Tell the people something good. Give them how to get in contact with you one more time, and anything you got coming up.
Well, follow me on social media, Spice Real TEA, or you can email me at contact@soldbysasha SACHA, and we'll just leave it at that for now.
All right, then. And I am Randy Graham. You can hit me at Randy R. Graham on Instagram. You can also call me at 404-438-7113. I will help you with any of your real estate needs in the Atlanta area. And we are out. Wealthy Thoughts, episode 11. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Bye.